Today, let's talk about Dark Fae. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I wanted to talk about Dark Fae, who is one of the most important bosses to farm in Doom Tower. And this is like a friendly reminder for those of you that can farm her, like, hey, don't forget to be farming her, because I know I forget a lot, but this is also for newer players, maybe don't realize how good her gear is, or maybe even players that have difficulty kind of overcoming the challenges of Dark Fae. So I'm going to show you the two teams that I've run. We're going to be back on the free-to-play for the first time in a couple months, at least in a serious fashion. But before we get over there, let's talk about why Dark Fae is so good. So currently on Doom Tower, and I know I'm a week or a couple days behind. I should have her on the full difficulty figured out right now, but you can see right now this is the highest that I can farm, and I've already done it today. I already used my keys before realizing that this was the video that I wanted to make, so I won't be able to showcase this particular team, but I did want to talk about the concepts of the team real quickly, and then I'll go show you an even easier team to make that utilizes those same concepts. And look, I understand that this is going to enrage a few people because you're immediately going to say, 2 newts, I'm out, I don't want to watch this, you're just lucky. Hey, look, 2 newts is easier, but there are replacements for the newts that work just the same way. It just takes a little bit longer. Now, I do have 1 newt on the free-to-play, okay? So you are going to see a newt over there, but what I'm saying still sticks. You could throw in a cold heart there and have pretty much the same success. So listen up. I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. This team in particular, I always forget this dude's name and it drives me nuts. I don't know why. I can never remember his name. Fabian. Okay. So I do use Fabian in this team. It is a preset team. Fabian is the lead for the aura, and he really makes it a lot easier for me to kill my own team. And we'll see that when we go over to the free-to-play, because like I said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wanted to make this video until about 10 minutes ago, and when I started recording, I realized, oh shoot, I don't have any keys. So that's on me, guys. I apologize, but I wanted to talk about the concept, and the team that you're going to see over there is very similar. So Fabian for the aura. Fabian's going to crowd control my own team when they get captured. I win the speed race by utilizing Arbiter, and Fabian is close enough in speed that he's going to catch up and pass my Arbiter that gets copied. Right? So Dark Fae, let me dumb this down a little bit more, or go back to the basics, I should say. Dark Fae is going to make a copy of your entire team, and it copies everything. All of their gear, their stats, everything gets copied, which means they're going to have the exact same speed as you. Now, you do win that speed race if they're even. So well, the whole team gets copied, Arbiter gets copied, but my Arbiter goes first, gives a speed boost to everyone on my team, and boosts my Fabian's speed to be faster than Arbiter. So then my Fabian comes in and does the lockout, so then Arbiter can't do anything on the enemy team, and then I go through and destroy them all with Thor. Now, the other thing that she's going to do is she's going to steal my highest crit damage, I think, champion. It's either highest attack or highest crit damage. I think it might be highest attack. Either way, she always steals my Thor. The problem with Thor being stolen is that I no longer now have a nuker to kill that Thor, but that's where Fabian comes in again in this particular team, because he can then turn meter reduce that Thor, potentially lock out that Thor, preventing that Thor from doing anything, and then we just whittle them down with Newt. And then the Newts are boss killers, right? So they do a ton of damage to Dark Fae, and they use turn meter manipulation, which you're going to see is a big part of the free-to-play team that I'm running over there. So let's hop over there, and I'll show you a run in action. All right, we're over on the free-to-play account now, and I wanted to make a couple of important notes about the status of this account, because there are people that are curious about it. So I'm actually only Silver 1 in Arena right now. I've been trying to work my way back up. I made a video on this account a couple of weeks ago and with the revival path, but one of the things in the revival path was, I think this is the gold, gets you back into gold 5. I used that, I got into gold 5, and then I stopped playing again. So I'm not gold 5, and I have to grind my way back up to it. So I've been doing that. I wanted to go for the Donatello fusion on this account, but ultimately decided that I wasn't going to go for it. I just didn't have the prep time, and being bronze in Arena, and it was a lot of work, and I just said, you know what, I love this account, but I am going to get Michelangelo. We're definitely going to do that. Donatello would have been great for this account, by the way. I really like Donatello. Let me know if you guys want me to make a dedicated video on Donatello. I'd love to talk about him, talk about why I think he's so good. I've gone over his kit a couple of different times, I feel like, in videos, but let me know. So I wanted to disclose that just to let you guys know that, like, this isn't a super crazy account. Like, this is my, you know, Great Hall, right? Like, I don't have that much going on this account, so it might be more on par with a lot of those of you that are watching. Now, because I don't play this account very often, you can see I've only unlocked up to the first form of Dark Fae on hard, which is still a perfectly good spot to farm. And I think it's important that we talk about farming her on whatever level you can do her at in hard. Now, this is the team, and you're going to see some similarities, and you're going to see some problems, right? So we have the rabbit in the lead. I'm only bringing the rabbit for the aura. That's basically it. I don't even think the rabbit is built that well on this account, right? We're mostly in mix-mash gear. Then I'm bringing Odin, who I'm lucky enough to have on this account, and I understand that that's not great, but that could be Armand's in this role. That could be Fabian on this role. Like, you can use different champions here. My Fabian on here isn't fully built up yet, and he's also my decreased defense champion, and happens to also be an enemy max HP champion, which speed things up a little bit. So that's why I'm bringing him. I already talked about why Newt is brought. Thor is used the same way, but you can see I'm taking my own advice. And instead of bringing a Newt, I'm bringing an Allure. She is the Newt replacement, and she is very, very, very good in this Dark Fae battle. I'm going to go over the preset here. I didn't go over the preset for the other team because we weren't going to actually see it in action, so I didn't think it mattered that much. So for the bunny, Phase 1 and 2, we're just saving all of our abilities. Phase 3, we're prioritizing the speed, getting that leech out there as well. For Odin, I am using some of the ability, on round 1 and round 2. Again, I'm saving all my abilities for round 3. I'm opening with the stun because I want to stun the copies that are made. And then we're going to prioritize using the enemy max HP target. For Newt, again, I'm just saving that Blessed Bash. We're not using that, but we are going to use his AoE attack. It does hit reasonably hard, so it can help you deal with the waves somewhat. And then we are going to open with Dwarven Might because that's going to be the crowd control portion of this. We're not going to use the A2 because it doesn't make any sense to use. And then we're going to use Blessed Bash whenever it's off cooldown as well. Allure, don't really care what we use for Allure in round 1 and 2. Round 3, only the A1. Her only job here is to control the turn meter of the Dark Fae. And then for Thor, we're going to turn everything off and have it on for the boss. So let's go ahead and jump in. We'll go ahead and do one of these runs here and you'll kind of see it in action. So you can see the waves are going to take a little bit longer, but I don't care about that. These waves aren't really a threat to me. The waves on Dark Fae are pretty easy. At the higher levels, they can be somewhat difficult to deal with, but they're not going to really wipe me. And it's really important that I maintain control of my debuffs, right? I don't want to go into the final phase and not have any of my buffs up. And the great thing about Odin is that he can kind of act as a reviver for you in an emergency, and he's pretty good at taking care of these even with his A1. Plus that block damage comes in and helps keep us alive, so we get through the waves pretty much unscathed, right? So now here we go. So there's the big stun, Void Affinity, so we don't have to worry about a weak hit, which is great. Then we killed them with Thor, and we just keep going, right? We just start doing what we can to the boss. Now the boss makes one copy. Again, we're manipulating turn meter on that copy as well with Allure, and then the rest of that turn meter manipulation is going to be on the boss. And you can see right there, look at that turn meter manipulation from Allure. Now it is reduced because this is all turn meter reduction effects are decreased by 50% when used against a boss. So she does have a reduced turn meter reduction, but when you combine it with Newt and you combine it with Allure, you really do get a large amount of turn meter reduction. And there you have it, 1:50, 59 turns. That was my best run yet that I've had. And it's pretty, not easy. This is a challenging fight, but provided that you manage it in the right way, it can be very, very rewarding. And now let's talk about why it's rewarding. But if you're trying to build a team similar to this, Thor could be your best nuker. Now, you want to be careful about certain nukers that you don't want to bring somebody that's going to get revived and like instantly blow up your team. So you kind of want to have, like, there are certain nukers that you don't want to bring Sun Wukong in a replacement for Thor. I'll put that, right? Because the copied Sun Wukong will revive itself and then just wipe your team, right? So you don't want to bring Sun Wukong. Allure is great. In a replacement for Newt, you could bring Cold Heart is a good option there. She's going to bring that turn meter control and the boss damage. You could bring Geomancer, kind of does the same thing. The only problem with Geomancer is that the boss is going to take more turns for you to do damage, where Newt is really doing that damage directly and reducing that turn meter. So I would say probably replacements for Newt, the best one would probably be Cold Heart. Dark Fae is still going to get more turns in that scenario, but Cold Heart will do that enemy max HP damage for you. Replacements for Odin, we already talked about. Crowd control champions are going to be great. That's really what I'm using Odin here. He's also bringing decreased defense, which is valuable. And then really, Razelvarg's just there for the aura, right? It's the fastest aura that I have on my account, so you could bring Deacon Armstrong here. He would be a great option because of his turn meter manipulation as well, and he brings a decreased defense. I don't really need it because I have Odin, but that's an option that you could bring. I like the increased speed from Razelvarg as well, so that's something that I don't get from Deacon Armstrong, but there are quite a few different option for substitutes in that team. But let's really quickly talk about why Dark Fae is so important to be farming. Now, because if we look at, where is it? The reward info, we can see Dark Fae rewards these Fae spheres. And if we go to the Forge and we look up those Fae spheres, it is called lethal gear. And these are those spheres that she drops. This gear has 10% crit rate for a 4-piece and ignores 25% of enemy defense. So a lot of nukers in this game, you build them, and I just did a showcase on nukers. You want to build them in your Savage, right? So you can ignore their defense and do a ton of damage. Well, you can see that lethal is very used on this account. And what I love about lethal, not only is it better than Savage, because it's the exact same as Savage, but you get that 10% extra crit rate. So it's just better in every sense of the word, but you also get to forge it. And I think that is so much better than farming gear. So let's say that I spend 3,000 energy farming Fire Knight. I will probably end up getting a handful of, I'd say maybe just Savage gear alone, I probably get, let's just throw out a number. Let's say 8 pieces of Savage gear. Well, now I need those Savage pieces to also get good stats. I'm going to need speed on the boots. I'm going to need attack percent or HP percent on the chest or defense percent on the chest, right? I'm going to need crit damage on the gloves, right? And then in the weapon, I'm going to want speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack, or HP. For the shield, I'm going to want speed, crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, right? Like, it's so much harder to get that gear to be good. Where when you're crafting, not only are you guaranteeing that they're going to be 5 or 6 star pieces, which I guess you are when you're farming as well. That's silly. So you do have the increased chances of trying to get those substats that you want, right? Like I'd like to get, well, you know what? Let's go crit rate. I'd like to get crit rate on them. And let's craft another one here and see what we get. Yeah, okay, so that proves my fact. I don't know why I thought that it can be rares. Obviously, it only makes sense, right? But so can the gear that you get from Fire Knight, right? And so you have this unfortunate possibility, but there's such a higher chance, in my opinion, that gear crafted from the Forge is going to be better overall for you. And I think the easiest way for me to kind of represent that is the fact that I have so much more lethal gear in play than I do savage gear. I've got a handful of champions that are in savage, but I've got far more that are in lethal, right? There's 3 nukers right there that are in lethal versus savage. I just really don't have that. But yeah, even TX. So I've just got way more champions in lethal because it's been easier for me to get lethal on this account than it has been to get savage gear. And so I highly recommend farming Dark Fae. I'm about to go kick that off as soon as this video is over, finish using up these keys so I can have that gear, craft that gear during the upcoming personal reward CVC as well. This account is in a 5-person clan, so I'm not worried about winning Clan B Clan on this account. But yeah, so that gear is just so good and I highly recommend it. So I hope this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I haven't done takeovers in a while. I probably won't be able to do any now that I have a job that I start tomorrow, which is why my video was a little last minute put together. I've been busy today thinking about other things. So either way, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of the support. Thank you for watching me. You've actually helped me through this tough time while I was waiting to finally find some work in the new city that we moved to. So thank you guys so much for that. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's the best way to support my channel. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Take care.